We should have like dehydrated. I would have.
And then there was the liberty.
I cried him today.
You are a model. You two get in.
That's okay, but it looks better. So just come in. I don't want Marissa went. See my friends? I'm going to take a bunch, and then I'll tell you when you can look at your other people, okay?
One, two, three, be serious. One, two, three.
Okay, well, we can't do it. We so I don't know if this is a video. Okay, turn a little left and like look that way. Yeah, a little. We got it?
Look here, girls. Ready? Good. 2, 3. Good, girls. Good. Now look at your best friend in the group. Everyone look at their favorite person. Keep the flowers. I know it's hard. Pick your favorite. Pick your favorite. Keep the flowers up and out. Keep the flowers up and out. And look at your favorite person. Back row flowers up. Back row flowers up.
No, like different levels of your flowers. Guys! I'm wearing a wedding gown to get married. Oh, can I get in there? Alright, we're going to take some sample shots. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Big smile. Looking at Jessica. We're so happy. Big smile. Let's see a file both. We're not done.
There we go. Beautiful.
1, 2, 3.
My dad's here. He brought it down from Nantucket. You know, isn't that sweet?
It's okay, come on. Come on, no, don't videotape her, don't videotape her. Go 2017! Like, I really can't do this. Oh! Well, to the right.
Where are y'all going? Where are y'all going with this? There's no parts right now. Literally what's the trap part? How does it go?
Staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot find. Reaching for something in the distance.
Sorry. Order. Okay, so go ahead and move. Get in line. Get your shoes back on. Whatever you need to do. We have a couple minutes.
Good afternoon. It is my great pleasure and sincere honor to welcome you to the Baldwin School's 129th commencement. We are here today to honor the class of 2017, a talented group of 57 girls who've left their mark on Baldwin and will now carry their strength of purpose into the wider world. Thank you for joining our community on this special day. I am pleased now to invite Reverend Charles Howard to the podium to open our ceremony. Please stand and remain standing following his invocation to sing America the Beautiful.
Friends, I ask you to please join me in the spirit of prayer for our invocation. Let us pray. It is profound and it is humbling to ponder the notion that perhaps those who have come before us might have whispered prayers on our behalf of individuals they may not have even known, yet still deeply cared for and even loved. Prayers of ancestors who struggled and suffered so that we might have opportunities like this. Prayers of grandparents and parents in the months before we were born. The heartfelt prayers of a visionary founder like Florence Baldwin, offered on the steps of the residence. On this beautiful early summer afternoon, I can almost hear her prayers for those of us gathered here today. Perhaps her prayers would begin with deep gratitude for the faithful stewardship of her dream. Baldwin has grown into one of, if not the finest schools in the nation. She would give thanks for the leadership of this school, for the generous board members and parental leaders, the diligent and selfless administrators, and certainly for the strong leadership of Dr. Porges, who has taken up the mantle of Florence Baldwin with grace and preeminence. We ask a special blessing for her upcoming wedding, too. Ms. Baldwin would smile and give an awe-filled prayer of gratitude for the brilliant faculty members gathered here today. And she would, through joyous tears, be filled with pride at all of Baldwin's students, especially this exemplary graduating class. Not just a pride in their academic excellence, nor just a pride in their strong leadership, athletic or artistic achievement, but I imagine she would give thanks for who they are apart from their transcripts and resumes. Women who are and who will contribute positively to this world by the power of their ideas and the strength of their character. This class, this amazing class of 2017, is everything she hoped Baldwin women would be. And so may we all join Florence Baldwin in giving thanks for all that these graduates and all that the Baldwin School has become and indeed will be. Amen.
Please be seated. I join you today at the end of my first year as Baldwin's head of school, not just to celebrate an inspiring group of graduates or commemorate an amazing year together, but also to honor the incredible community that's seated here today. So I'll start with heartfelt thanks to the Baldwin family who made this all possible, whose influence I see every day and who've made a lasting impact on our graduates. Thanks to our Board of Trustees, many of whom are here today, for providing the strategic guidance and support that's so critical to our school. You all have given selflessly of your time, expertise, and resources throughout this year and for many years until now. Your commitment to Baldwin and its girls makes an enduring difference. On behalf of the entire school, please accept my sincere gratitude. My heartfelt thanks also goes to Baldwin's exceptional faculty and staff. I saw your passion for our mission and our girls every single day, in the extra time and energy that you put into every lesson, and the care that you gave every moment with a student. You saw the potential in today's graduates many years ago and inspired them to greatness. When this class of blue changes the world, it will be because of the foundation that you gave them. Finally, on behalf of the entire school, and in particular this class of 2017, my thanks to the parents, grandparents, and family members who are here to help celebrate this final step in your girls' Baldwin journey. For each of you, this partnership in your girls' education has required sacrifice, commitment, and a steadfast belief in Baldwin. Thank you for the encouragement you've provided leading up to this day, and for trusting us to shape your girls into the amazing young women now prepared to conquer the world. You made it possible for our graduates to become their best selves. I know each one is deeply grateful for your love, guidance, and unwavering support. Now it's my chance to speak to our graduates, my first class of seniors. A group of young women who pushed me to see things differently and kept me on my toes, who made me smile and laugh out loud, who continually questioned how I could get away with serving non-deep dish pizza during our deep dish sessions. You have made me proud to be your head of school and exceedingly grateful to be a fellow member of the Baldwin Sisterhood. You led our community from the first day of academic and athletic preseason and exemplified Baldwin's best every day since, most especially in the small things you did to make each other smile. That dance party you threw in the hall of our schoolhouse the first cold day in October. That time your sports team started a study group for underclassmen to make sure they could love learning both in the class and during afternoon practice. That moment in our Ladies Who Lead seminar, when you turned to one another and so eloquently and thoughtfully told your classmate, your friend, why she is such an inspired, impactful leader. As you start the next stage of your academic careers, please remember the triumphs you had here at Baldwin, the challenges you overcame, and the bonds of sisterhood you created along the way. But most importantly, do not forget the power of your collective voice. Remember the impact you had, not just as individuals, but as a class. Together, you made each other laugh. Together, you picked each other up when times were tough. Together, you changed the school with your spirit, intellect, and courage. Stay connected to one another and our school. Continue to push each other to take risks. Be your classmates' most steadfast supporters and loudest cheerleaders. find ways to still work together even from afar, and ensure that the class of 2017 holds fast to its shared influence. Together, you are invincible. You're now Baldwin graduates, after all. It's my pleasure to now introduce our student speaker, Madeline Marr. Madeline is a proud member of our 14-year club, meaning that she is one of 7 students in the class of 2017 who have been at Baldwin since pre-K. Having spent most of her life in a blue tunic or kilt, along with her 2 younger sisters, I know she considers Baldwin a second home. Madeline is an independent thinker whose confidence and thoughtful point of view made her a leader in our classroom. Her deep curiosity about women's history also inspired her to play a major role in the creation of our digital archives and provided the impetus for her work as a Baldwin scholar. Madeline's impact on our school can also be seen in our yearbook and in the performing arts, particularly with the B-Flaps. She is known as a loyal friend, a passionate learner, and an ardent feminist. Madeline's classmates selected her as their speaker because of these attributes, and because her spirit and strong voice make her a true Baldwin girl. Please welcome Madeline Marr to the podium.
So before I start, I'd like to give my mom a shout out. She claims that she's not going to cry, but she teared up in the hair salon. So we'll see how this goes, Mom. I almost didn't come to Baldwin. The year was 2002, and I was 4 years old. I was touring the local preschools, doing some interviews, trying to find a school that would prepare me for an illustrious future. After a few visits, I thought I had found the place. This school, which will remain anonymous for its own privacy, had offered me a SpongeBob ice cream popsicle. They were courting me like I was a football recruit, and I was falling for it. I attended my Baldwin visit, thinking I would spend a fun day, maybe do some finger painting, and then go home to send my application to the other school, name redacted. However, something happened that day that caused me to change my mind. I walked out and said to my mom, "Mommy, that's my school. That's where I'm going next year." We may never know what exactly happened that day, because I was 4 and can barely remember what happened in class meeting 20 minutes later, but Baldwin obviously left its mark on me. Now, standing up here 14 years later, I am so grateful I wasn't swayed by that unknown school's desert, because coming to Baldwin was the best decision I've ever made. Baldwin has truly been a special place for me, and for all of us. I think one of the reasons I have thought of Baldwin as my second home is how safe I feel. I've known everyone for 3 years, if not 14. We've seen each other through every phase. As a result, I am no longer capable of feeling embarrassed at the Baldwin School. We made it through 3rd grade, which for some reason was the year of tracksuits, oversized t-shirts, and the middle part, which makes me personally look like Jesus. Every picture of me from that year has been burned, except for the one I put in the yearbook because it's hilarious. We made it through braces, bad haircuts, funky eyeshadow. To all the mothers in the audience, we apologize for not listening when you said it wasn't a good look. Personally, I have suffered many humiliating moments while on this campus. I passed out and flashed everyone during graduation rehearsal in 8th grade, leaving a massive scab on my face for our own graduation the next day. I had to wear go-go boots during Alice in Wonderland, and I slid down the ramp on set during our first show. Most of my embarrassing moments have to do with falling. Who can forget the dozens of awkward, and subsequently hilarious, encounters during the famous food poisoning in Italy? The disaster zone hotel rooms, the hoarding of snacks, the medical aid we received. Medical aid. Or the music trips, when Miss Schulte made us sing for people who did not want to hear classical music in the subway station. But because of how much time we've spent together, how accepting everyone is, I've learned to take those moments in stride, because I know all of my sisters will accept me and help me get back up after I fall down. The support system at Baldwin has also taught me how to fail. The first time I can remember the disappointment of coming up short was in 5th grade. It was our final year of spelling tests, which I took abnormally seriously, which, if you know me, makes absolute sense. I had had an 100% average up to the middle of that year, and I was going to make it to 5th grade graduation with that average intact. But one Friday, disaster struck. I could not remember how to spell ceiling. I-E, E-I. Were there somehow 2 E's? I got that question wrong, crushing my dreams. However, I learned with everyone else that you can't take those disappointments so seriously. I've failed a lot since then. We all have. Instead of feeling like I've had to hide my outrage and sadness, I've been able to go into the lounge and vent, knowing no matter who's in there, I'll have someone to talk to. The process of growing up entails a lot of heartache, and there's no avoiding that. But my time at Baldwin has allowed me to feel confident that I have people around me who won't let me get down on myself for long. Although, to this day, I still can't spell ceiling. When we turn the sophomores' rings on ring day, we make 3 wishes. One for yourself, for the ring's owner, and for Baldwin. If I could do that ritual right now, my wishes would be the same at each turn. I'd wish that the web of ties that holds every Baldwin girl together stays strong and is strengthened by this graduating class and everyone sitting in the rafters. I hope that we advocate for each other, helping all of us rise in our careers and in our personal lives. I hope we reach out to those who came before us to share and grow, and reach back to those coming behind to mentor and advise. I hope that we remember to give back to the institution that has given us the gift of an unparalleled education, not only in academic subjects, but in grit, ambition, and tenacity. Class of 2017, I know that we will support each other and the Baldwin community long past the day we hang up our kilts for the last time. I'm going to quote feminist Gloria Steinem now, because this is a Madeleine Marr speech. She so beautifully states why spaces like Baldwin are invaluable to women. This is why groups run by and for women are so important to us. They are our psychic turf, our place to discover who we are or could become as whole, independent human beings. They help us to leave the tyranny of society's expectations behind. A few hours a week or a month of making psychic territory can help us to know that we are not alone. And I have always known at Baldwin that I am never alone. We are so lucky to have a space to go every day where there are no expectations. I have never felt that I couldn't do anything because I looked around every day and saw strong, intelligent women doing whatever the heck they wanted. My fellow classmates are so powerful, and you are all constantly inspiring me. Already we have people making waves in every field. We like to joke that the class of 2017 is the best class, but even a cursory glance shows that we are a grade of talented, ambitious women who will change the world. I'm so genuinely excited to see what everyone will go out and do, and I know that we won't disappoint. Through Baldwin, we have come together and learned from each other, supported each other. We may be going our separate ways after today, but our experience has left an indelible mark on all of us. You are all Baldwin girls. Go out there and show the world everything you have to offer. Thank you.
Joining us today to provide our keynote address is an influential voice on passion, perseverance, and the keys to success in work and in life. Professor Duckworth is the Christopher H. Brown Distinguished Professor of Psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, and also the founder and CEO of Character Lab, a nonprofit whose mission is to advance the science and practice of character development. Her work focuses on grit and self-control, two attributes that are distinct from standard metrics of intelligence and yet powerfully predict success and well-being. A 2013 MacArthur Genius Fellow, Professor Duckworth has advised the White House, World Bank, NBA and NFL teams, and Fortune 500 CEOs. Currently, she serves as a faculty director for Wharton People Analytics, an initiative that helps organizations adopt the latest insights from social science research. Prior to her career in academia, Professor Duckworth founded a summer school for low-income children, worked as a McKinsey consultant, and served as a math and science teacher in the public schools of New York City, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. She received her undergraduate degree in neurobiology at Harvard, graduating magna cum laude. With the support of a Marshall Scholarship, she completed an MSc with distinction in neuroscience from Oxford University, and she was awarded her PhD in psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Duckworth has received numerous awards for her contributions to education, and her first book, Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance, debuted last spring as an immediate New York Times bestseller. It's my honor to introduce Professor Angela Duckworth.
Thank you so much, members of the faculty and staff, proud families, friends, and above all, Baldwin graduates of the class of 2017. It is my great honor to be here today with the 57 members of the class of Blue. I have more than a few friends who graduated from this great school or are proud parents of students in this very class. I have therefore been advised numerous times that you deserve the very, very best of speakers. Someone glamorous and wise, someone worth tweeting about. But instead of a celebrity, you got a professor. 4 years of high school behind you, 4 years of college ahead of you, and on this momentous day, it turns out you have to sit through a lecture. What can I tell you? These are desperate times. Let me begin with a confession. I'm just about the last person I thought would grow up to be a professor. Once when I was in my mid-20s, working my way through a master's program in neuroscience, someone asked me whether I'd continue and get my doctorate, then try to join the faculty of a university somewhere. No way, I said. How boring. Why would I ever want to do that? So how'd I get here? Not only as your speaker today, but a professor of psychology. Not only a professor of psychology, a professor who absolutely loves what she does. The surprising fact about people who love what they do is that there was a time when they didn't. For years, I ached to know where my life was heading. At your age, I'd learned how to work through a to-do list with ferocious efficiency. By 22, I could plow through any assigned reading, any required problem set. In short, I knew how to play by the rules. But none of that prepared me for the most important thing. It would be another decade before I really knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. How do you find a calling? That's what I want to talk about today. My research specialty is the psychology of achievement. I've studied the Green Berets and the winners of the National Spelling Bee. I've had the privilege of interviewing Olympic gold medalists, Nobel laureate scientists, and Oscar-nominated actors. Basically, I study the sort of people you hope to show up behind the podium at your graduation. Ask the these remarkable individuals if they love what they do, and without taking a breath, they will look you in the eye and they will tell you, oh yes, I love what I do. Passion is half of a character strength I call grit. Perseverance is the other half, the more obvious half. In my research, I found that the common denominator of high achievers is not just their perseverance, but also their passion. Graduating from Baldwin means you already know a lot about perseverance. But what about passion? Grit isn't just perseverance, it's perseverance in the service of something you love. The paradox of passion is that it can lead to accolades and praise, but it's never directed toward those outward rewards. I have a little quiz that will help explain what I mean. Families, faculty, fellow students, I know it's been a while since you've been asked, well, maybe not you, to take a test, but if you like, you can play along too. First, Baldwin girls, think of a goal. Think of something you'd like to accomplish over the next few months. I'll give you a moment to do that. Now that you have a picture in your mind of a goal that's personally important to you, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. You have a chance to earn 4 points, 1 for each question, so start keeping track. Number 1, is this goal genuinely interesting to you? If the answer is yes, you've earned a point. Number 2, does this goal tie into your core ethical, religious, or moral values? If so, then give yourself another point. Number 3, do you care about this goal at least as much as anyone else does? If so, give yourself another point. And finally, number 4, does thinking about this goal make you giddy with the possibility of achieving it, rather than make you cringe imagining the consequences of falling short? If thinking about this ambition makes you smile rather than grimace, give yourself another point. Now add up your points. The higher your score, the more internally motivated you are to accomplish that goal. Recently, I gave a version of this quiz to 300 adults. In addition, to assess their passion and perseverance for long-term goals, I had them rate themselves on something I call the grit scale. I found that gritty women and men tend to pursue internally motivated goals. Likewise, when I interview world-class achievers, I find that without exception, they're driven from within, not from without. One year, at her own graduation, one of my students gave me a gift. It was a journal, and on the front was calligraphy that read, "Follow your bliss." I bet you've heard that one before. The quotation comes from Joseph Campbell, a professor of literature who taught at Sarah Lawrence College for 38 years. "My general formula for my students," Campbell said, "is follow your bliss. Find where it is and don't be afraid to follow it." Campbell also said that when you follow your bliss, doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. That's great advice for those of you who know exactly what you want to do from here on out. But I expect that many of you do not. If you'd like to get better acquainted with your intrinsic interests, I have an assignment, and you can do it right now. When you have free time, graduates, time to do whatever you want, and I know you don't have a lot of it, how do you spend it? What do you like to read about? When your mind wanders, where does it go? The answers to these questions are clues to what kindles your curiosity. Values, too, can be deeply part of who you are, and yet we go through much of life without thinking about them explicitly. These values are things like your close friends, your family, your school, your religious community. To bring these values into focus, try an exercise called the values affirmation. It's astonishingly simple. You sit down, and for 10 minutes, you write about 1 or 2 of your values. That's really it. I recommend you do that for homework. Why? because research shows that writing about your values is especially helpful in times of uncertainty, because writing is reflecting, because affirming your core beliefs puts things into their proper perspective, helping you see the bigger picture and your place in it. These exercises, identifying your interests and affirming your values, are a good start, but they're really just a beginning. It can take years to develop a true calling. Let's take Joseph Campbell as an example. Many years before he advised his students to follow their bliss, young Campbell wrote in his journal, "The thought of growing into a professor gives me the creeps, a lifetime to be spent trying to kid myself and my students into believing that the thing that we're looking for is in books." But Campbell did become a professor. He wrote dozens of books and articles about ancient mythology, his literary specialty. He delivered hundreds of lectures. He influenced thousands of students. And what's more, Campbell's scholarly research on the hero's journey directly inspired George Lucas to create the Star Wars saga. Lucas read Campbell's books when still in film school. Much later, they would meet in person and become friends. Ultimately, George Lucas would come to call Professor Campbell my Yoda. Graduates and families, you showed up for a graduation speech, and what did you get? A professor lecturing you on what she studies. You got a pop quiz. You got homework. Sorry, a professor's habits can get pretty deeply ingrained. I began my remarks by telling you that for a very long time, I had no idea that I'd end up here someday. I want to conclude by telling you that my work has become my calling. My research on character and achievement and grit is, to me, infinitely interesting and ultimately fulfilling. Most Saturday mornings, I get up early, make myself a cup of coffee, and settle into the living room couch, a stack of scientific articles at my side. For the next 3 or 4 hours, all I do is sit and read and think and fill up my notebook with notes. Is it relaxing? No, not at all. It's hard, but it's glorious. It's work, but it's also play. I am never bored, and in my heart of hearts, I believe that psychological science can make a positive difference in the lives of children. How'd I get here? When I was a couple of years younger than, well, I'll just say this. I was a couple of years younger than you, and I can hardly remember that far, but I do remember that a catalog arrived in the mail. It was from a summer program offering college courses for high school students, and it had a watercolor painting of a Gothic building on the front. After school, I found myself paging through it again and again until one day I decided to apply. Because I paid the tuition myself, blowing what amounted to my life savings at that point, I had the freedom to enroll in any 2 courses of my choosing. What did I pick? Nonfiction writing and Introduction to Psychology. 30 years later, a professor of psychology who writes all day, I can recognize those sparks of interest for what they were. But at the time, I had no idea. When I declared my undergraduate major, I was still clueless. In fact, after graduation from college, I cycled through a half-dozen jobs before, at age 32, I had the clarity to enroll in the doctoral program in psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. When I finished, at age 36, I was older than many of my professors. It's okay to not know yet what your passion is. In the movies, passion is like a bolt of lightning, illuminating the sky of your consciousness with 1,000 megavolts of self-awareness. But the reality, confirmed by scientific research, is that for most people, passion begins as a little spark that must be fanned and fed over months and years, so that one day, it may become a raging fire that burns perpetually. Baldwin graduates, wherever you are on your journey, today is a step forward. Tomorrow you may stumble. When you lose your way, groping in darkness, aching for certainty, do not look skyward for a flash of insight. Instead, look within and have faith that with time and with experience, those tiny embers of curiosity and purpose that are at their beginnings so faint you don't even know that they're real will burn more and more brightly, so that years from now, when I meet you in the street and you tell me that you were here on this momentous June afternoon, I will ask you, do you love what you do? And you will stare at me right in the eye, and without hesitation, you will say, oh yes, I love what I do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Duckworth. Some incredibly thoughtful remarks and very poignant advice for our graduates. I now have the pleasure of welcoming to the podium Mr. Terry Steelman, who has served as chair of Baldwin's Board of Trustees since 2014, and is the proud parent of 2 Baldwin girls, Morgan, who graduated last year, and Grace, who is a member of our class of 2018.
Thanks, Dr. Duckworth. That was extraordinary. I hope everybody in the room heard that. Good afternoon. I'm Terry Steelman. As Dr. Porges just said, I'm the chair of the trustees, and it is genuinely my pleasure to be here today to thank everybody who made this a special day and to congratulate this class of 2017. First, I would like to thank the entire Baldwin community for your commitment to making this a successful year. This has been a wonderful year as we have welcomed Dr. Porges as our new head of school. Last year, when I stood here as we were anticipating this major change for the school, I quoted Helen Keller when she said, "A bend in the road is not the end of the road unless you fail to make the turn." Well, a year later, I'm really happy to say we made the turn. We avoided most of the bumps along the way, and we are well on our way to new heights. Thank you all for how you have embraced this change and supported Dr. Porges as she charts an inspiring future for Baldwin. Thank you, Dr. Porges, for your tireless efforts this year as you dove headlong into this new role. Thank you for your strategic challenges and insight as you have worked to make us more efficient and effective in meeting our core objective of providing the best educational experience possible for our girls. You have led by example through your immense dedication and pursuit of excellence at every level. Thank you to our faculty and staff. Your unwavering commitment and passion, that was in text, as you have created a learning environment that is intellectually stimulating for all of our girls. Your inspiration and drive enables every girl to discover her potential and to challenge her own boundaries. Baldwin continues to be recognized as a preeminent all-girls independent school in the country, in large part due to you, our faculty. I would also like to thank my fellow trustees. Your hard work, strategic leadership, and financial support is exemplary. Your wisdom and dedication to the Baldwin mission of academic excellence gives us all great confidence in the school's future. I also want to applaud your strength of conviction to make bold decisions regarding our future while building on our rich history and legacy. I would like to congratulate our alumni of the school for continuing to return and reinvest in our mission with your gifts of time, money, knowledge, and your just spirit that you bring here every time you come here. I'm constantly amazed by the incredible women who spent their formative years at Baldwin. You are a powerful and probably the most powerful testimony to the value of a Baldwin education. To the parents, in particular the parents of this year's graduating class, and I can relate to what you're feeling today, having experienced it last year. There is no greater honor than to trust a school with the education of your children. Your trust and support continues to be the cornerstone of Baldwin's success and the vitality that the school benefits from going forward. Finally, and I know you're happy it's finally, I would like to congratulate the class of 2017, the class of blue. Great color. You're a wonderful group of young women who have already achieved great things, and we expect many more great things. But above all of that, you've shown us through your kindness, your talents, your broad interest, the strength that comes from a diverse community that respects and values each other as individuals. I challenge you to please take these virtues into your college experience. Our society needs strong leaders that represent the values and mutual respect you have learned at Baldwin. Change today's narrative and be the voice that defines your generation. I wish you all the best in your future and know that Baldwin has prepared you well. Enjoy the next few years as your horizons broaden and your new challenges appear in front of you, but always remember you are the Baldwin School. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Baldwin School, please join me in offering congratulations to the class of 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Steelman. We have now reached the culmination of today's ceremony, when our girls officially become Baldwin graduates. As part of this special moment, the school has over time developed a tradition whereby trustees, faculty, staff, and alumni who have daughters and granddaughters graduating are invited to assist in the presentation of their diplomas. Today, we have 5 seniors with parents in those categories. I invite those members of our community to please join us on stage at this time. I would also like to take this moment to introduce Mr. Eric Benke to preside over the awarding of diplomas for the class of 2017.
Dr. Porges, Mr. Steelman, having examined their records, I can attest that these seniors have fulfilled all the requirements of the Baldwin School and are now prepared to graduate. Will the class of 2017 please prepare for the awarding of diplomas? Jane Isabella Bradley. Sally Chen. Courtney Ray Loomis. Lauren Rebecca Fasnacht. The patient Jennifer Lynn Dietrich. Sorry about that, John. Jasmine Elizabeth Graytock. Rachel Hannah Cook. Sarai Miracle Brown Alexander. Madeline Marie Marr. Roya Gohar Alajani. Christina Danielle Artis. Lily Rosalie Barnes. Alexa Gray Bartels. Maya Raji Bindra. Stephanie Lynn Blank. Jennifer Lynn Brown. Kala Munyara Kanadi. Ashley Corinne Chapman. Jillian Morgan Chestnut. Gabriel Emma DeClaudio. Sophia Claire Evans. Emily Ann Familio. Margaret Mary France. Sanjana Jade Friedman. Lindsay Nicole Gordon. Tianshu Guo. Ariana Lena Hairston. Annika Iyer. Caroline Rose Kaiser. Olivia Winifred Love Lancioni. Akila Naomi Lee. Willing Lee. Michelle Christine Mariette. Catherine Haley Moeller. Morgan Greer Montute. Alexis Renee Mosley McElmore. Sumrin Pal Mudgill. Rihanna Fern Newman. Catherine Elizabeth Phillips. Sophia Leah Raff. Madison Eve Raju. Madison Eloise Sanders. Emma Rose Sass. Caroline Hannah Schaefer. Ashana Knight Shyamalan. Jolie Tell Simon. Angela Michelle Smith. Georgia Lynn Spees. Pallavi Sridhar. Lily Wenjing Tong. Dagny Kent Tepper. Evelyn Elizabeth Wasson. Zara Ellen Wenzinger. Lila Jane Williams. Annie Shui Shu. Jessica Wei Zhang. Yumi Fungnan Chow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my extraordinary honor to present the class of 2017.
One of Baldwin's long-standing traditions is the senior song, a custom wherein all of our seniors' creativity, eloquence, and spirit comes together in a musical piece they compose themselves to celebrate their class and remind us all of Baldwin's lasting impact. Please listen carefully to the words they sing today as our girls paint a picture of their time together at Baldwin and honor the sisterhood and home they found here. At this time, I invite the class of 2017 to stand and sing their senior song for the final time. Please rise for the singing of Baldwin's alma mater and remain standing at your seats at the end until our graduates recess.
Our
Please remain at your seats as our graduates recess.
Oh,